Drum roll, please. 1 year later, a year ago I tested 10 types of glue to see which will stick the best. This one goes on much smoother. It's not as sticky. Elmer's White. These are all the glues that I own. I'm gonna cover this with a piece of plastic and then put a heavy book on top so it all dries perfectly flat. So I will link that video below. I go really into depth on each glue. A lot of comments are coming in saying that is all well and great, but what about over the long term? What's gonna peel off a year from now? Well, it has been over 1 year, and I thought I would come back and update my little glue experiment. There's one surprise, and that is all of them. All 11 glues are still perfectly stuck. Nothing's peeling, the edges aren't coming off, the corners aren't unsticking. It looks the same as the day I uploaded the video. In order to get similar results as I have, you do need to follow these tips. Number one, and most importantly, is use enough glue. That's a little bit thick. This is a little over the top. The glue has to completely cover the back of the paper that you're sticking down. You can't have any section, you can't have a corner without glue. If there is no glue or a very thin or weak amount of glue, it's probably going to peel. That's why you're having peeling problems. The other thing is that I am gluing paper onto paper in this experiment. I would take a piece of watercolor paper as my background because that is what I used for this. It's all glued down onto a piece of watercolor paper. So this is store-bought scrapbook paper, and it's glued on to a piece of watercolor paper. So that might also have something to do with the bond. I'm not gluing on to canvas, I'm not gluing on to wood or plastic or paper painted over in a thick layer of acrylic paint or gesso. So I can't speak to how well that would glue and stay stuck long term. Those are some experiments I could try in the future, but this is paper on paper. So for me, this is the way I do my collage art. Well, I usually do put a wash of thin acrylic paint, but it still sort of has a toothiness to the watercolor paper. It's not a thick layer of plastic. So keep that in mind. Use whatever kind of glue works best for your purpose. So for me, when I am gluing, the effect I want is to have the surface of my color paper exposed. I don't want it covered. So I know there's a technique where you can use matte medium with a brush. You brush on the back of the paper and then brush on the top of your paper to seal it in there. I don't use that technique. I like having the texture of the paper. I like having that stay, so I don't want to cover it. So for me, glue stick would work perfectly, especially since I often use small pieces. And glue sticks are so cheap, first of all, and they're clean. They're clean and they're easy to wash. It's easy to wash your fingers after. I got into the habit of using a matte medium, a liquid matte medium from Liquitex, and I love it. It bonds beautifully. By the next day, it's rock solid on there, although glue stick probably is too. And I got in the habit of using that and putting it in a tube, but my fingers always get completely gunked up with the matte medium, always. And it's so hard to get it off my fingers. I know you can use baby oil, but I just scrub and it takes forever and I have glue peeling on my fingers for hours. I don't know, it's almost not worth it. And as I'm creating, I'm just getting a thicker and thicker layer of glue on my fingers. So I'm the perfect candidate for glue stick. And yet, for some reason in my head, I've always had this idea that glue stick is for elementary school students. You know, it's a school glue. It's not going to hold up. So after seeing this and knowing the kind of artwork that I make, I think I'm going to switch over and try glue stick, and they even come in different sizes. I don't know. So I'm going to try my next few collage pieces with glue stick and see, like the proof seems to be right here. So if you're doing very intricate art with the little teeny tiny pieces, sometimes I'll use paper that I've punched out with a hole puncher, just tiny little circles. Glue stick is really difficult with that, those tiny circles. So then in that case, you know, I have my Sakura glue pen. And again, really have to make sure with the pen, it's a little trickier with that glue pen, but to make sure the whole back of that little tiny piece of paper is covered with the blue glue, and then it will stick for at least a year. So yeah, using the glue for your art style. None of the glues discolored the paper. Someone asked that. Someone commented that it looks like the paper has been discolored. No, that is just my paper. That is how the paper, it's a turquoise with sort of a yellow wash on it. So that had nothing to do with the glue. Yeah, I'm looking. There's no corners lifted. This little Elmer's one is slightly lifted because I've been sticking my finger, my nail in there, seeing if it's gonna just like pry off, but no, it doesn't want to pry off. Yeah, so there you go. 1 year later, all of the glues are still stuck. Maybe I'll update next year at the 2-year point. See if anything has fallen off. This has been through all the weather, all the seasons, the dry of winter and my indoor heating, spring, and like now it's raining. It hasn't affected it at all. So there you go. My advice, use whatever glue that you want and that you like, and you should be okay, and you should have your artwork well stuck for at least 1 year. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.